Hey guys, Sean here from Soul Pepper. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a typical customer lifecycle. All right, so this is a typical customer lifecycle for a law firm or an attorney that's running like a smaller practice. They could be working by themselves, or maybe they have a team of 5 or 10 people. But let's say on the more boutique side. Okay, so typically what's happening is they're driving traffic. This is visitors to their website. Or just to their phone or their consultations from two main places. The first one is from referrals. Okay, so what's happening? Let's say that you're a family lawyer and you've called a criminal lawyer and you're trying to build a reciprocal relationship so you can referral files to each other. All right, so it's very typical what we see. The issue, in one of the what we call like an old school way, the issue with that is it's very difficult to scale because you're at the mercy of hoping that criminal lawyers, their clients need family law. So you have no idea when those calls are going to come, and it's also the second thing is very expensive. Right? I've seen people referring north of 45, 50% of the, what you take home as that lawyer, you're having to give back to that referral. So that's very, very, very expensive. Okay. The second most common piece of traffic that we see happening is word of mouth, right? So that's where, you're hoping like you do a good job with your customers and you're hoping that they have a friend who's in need and that they say your name when that friend is in need. Okay. So again, very difficult to predict when that's going to happen and also very difficult to scale. All right. But again, these are very typical to traffic sources, and all that traffic's coming down to the website. This website is probably a standard 5-page website. It has, your About Us page, your services page, your lawyer page, and then maybe a Contact Us page. Now, the issue with these websites is it's typically only talking to those people who are looking for services now. Like they're in a big hurry and they've landed on your website and they're going to call you right away. Okay. And that's probably only 1 or 2% of those people. All right. They end up booking a consultation. Because the website lacks a mechanism to capture leads, all those other visitors go into the garbage. Right? Like once they leave your website, it's a very small probability that they're coming back unless we're deliberate about it. All right. For those who have a consultation, not everybody signs up. Maybe not everybody's a fit. So the people who sign up become a customer. Everybody else also goes in the garbage. So there's no mechanism to continue talking to consultations who, maybe they're doing their due diligence, or they're talking to a couple people, or they're checking their options, or, they just have to think it over. Right. So what's happening? We're getting a lot of people who are automatically going to the garbage can. Okay. Then when someone becomes a customer, it kind of stops there. You're pretty busy, so you provide the service and that's about it. So this is what we're seeing as a typical customer lifecycle. What I want to introduce to you today is something that we're using at Soul Pepper Legal Marketing is the Perfect Customer Lifecycle. Okay, so you can see the big difference. We've added a couple more boxes. So the key difference at the top, these yellow boxes this is your brand layer. Okay, so this is where you're going to curate case studies. People want to hear what you've done before. They want to know what your track record is, what your resume is. And that's what case studies are. That's what case studies tell the story of how well you've performed. So curating case studies is very, very important. Not only to tell people what's going on, but it influences all of the assets and all the messaging and all the copy that you're going to write for all of your advertising as well as for your website. Okay, so like those case studies are crucial to build out the assets on your website. If you've ever wondered, hey, like what do I write about or what do I say? Case studies are a great thing to show. From there, that's going to influence a few different traffic layers. So here we only have 2. All of a sudden, we're bumping up to 6 different items. Okay, so the first one is on the left. You probably drive traffic from search ads. So what's that? That's advertising on Google or Bing. Accompanied with organic posts or SEO and Google My Business, right? That is really owning the bottom of the funnel, because when somebody's looking for, let's say, best immigration lawyer Miami, they're going to Google, right? So if you do these 2 things, all of a sudden you're at the you're taking advantage of everything Google has to offer. Okay. Now, Beside that is, once you've kind of captured all of that, because that has there's a limited amount of people who are searching for best immigration lawyer in Miami. So if you want to get more than that, then you'd have to jump to something called prospecting campaigns, right? So this is where you're very deliberate. You know what the profile is of your typical customer, and you're going to go out and you're going to target those people across the internet. So that's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google, and a few other places, of course. So these are some different different traffic layers that we typically add on pretty quick. Lastly, once you've done that, there's something called an authority layer, or your brand development. Okay, so this is where you've kind of nailed these items out over here, and now you're just really looking to become like the expert or the leading authority, or just like the top firm in your area. And that's where you're going to start to just have branding campaigns, more about thought leadership. And this is your marketing to people who, they don't even know they need you right now. They probably don't, but they might need you in a year. And because you've been talking to them, and because they've seen your brand, they're going to, when they're ready to, they're going to know your name. Okay. All of these traffic layers, right? Again, they can happen in different orders, drive down to something called a lead capture and booking page, right? So on the typical customer lifecycle, that's going to a website that's static with no deliberate actions, but we're driving to a lead capture booking page. Okay, so what's that? Two things. For those people who are not ready to buy yet, so I'd say 98% of people, they're just kind of like, just testing the waters. We're going to try to capture their email by giving them some valuable piece of content. So that could be a 10 things you need to know before you immigrate to the US, or 10 things that you need to consider when filing for divorce, right? They put their name and email in, you send them that in a PDF automatically, and then we're going to nurture these people through an email sequence, inviting them back to book, right? To book in for a consultation. That's typically what we see, okay? For the other people who are ready right away, they're going to book a consultation right away here. So all of a sudden, you've eliminated the trash can because you're capturing some of those leads. If people leave your website, then you're going to bring them back to this booking page by something called remarketing. And that's where you have, you continue to serve up your ads or your messaging to them as they leave your website to bring them back. Maybe they got interrupted when they're about to book, but their phone rang and their kids started crying. Remarketing is going to help remind them and bring them back to your website. Okay, great. So now you go to. This is where you come in, right? This is where you're going to talk and show your magic, and you're going to try to turn people into a customer. We also know that some people aren't ready to buy right away, so they might leave, and that's where we'll continue to send them your messaging. And again, don't be scared about sending them your messaging. That's very normal. People who want to hear from you want to hear from you, so it's okay not to be shy. Even as a legal professional, you can continue to message people in a polite manner and bring them back. They become a customer, and now you deliver exceptional value. So right here, when they become a customer, you're going to say, hey, look, I'm going to do my best to deliver exceptional value for you. If I do, will you give me a case study? Your customer says, yes. Awesome. Now you deliver a case study, goes all the way back up to the top, and you're going to continue just to pile on these case studies and building this huge book of awesome assets to start building out your brand. Okay. The other thing that happens is these people will refer you business. Right? They're going to refer you business. So you're going to get case studies, you're going to get referrals. And the other piece that I didn't put on here is upgrades. Depending on what type of service you're offering, you could probably upgrade them to potentially be buying more services from you. So this is an example of the perfect customer lifecycle. That's something that we're doing every single day and implementing it for legal professionals across North America. And we're seeing it just rain in leads and new customers. Okay, so thanks for stopping by.